It all began with a single picture. Back in 2014, Kelly Rowland shared a heartwarming photo of herself cradling her newborn son, Titan. It was supposed to be a simple, beautiful moment of motherhood, but the internet has a strange way of turning simple into something far more complicated. Before long, people began zooming in on Titan's little face, comparing his features and whispering theories that had nothing to do with celebrating a baby's arrival. The jawline, some swore it looked like Jay-Z's. The eyes, others insisted they were unmistakably Jay-Z's. Even Titan's expression felt too familiar for comfort, at least to the online detectives who couldn't resist stirring the pot. Side-by-side photos began circulating, with fans drawing arrows, circling similarities, and creating elaborate comparisons, as if they were solving a crime. But this was never just about a baby's face. It was about what that baby might represent: loyalty, betrayal, a friendship that once stood as one of the most iconic bonds in music, suddenly being questioned. Because if what people were suggesting had even a shred of truth, then the fallout wouldn't just be gossip column chatter. It would reshape how fans saw Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Kelly Rowland forever. The reason this story carried such weight wasn't about Titan himself. It was about who his mother was. Kelly Rowland wasn't just a casual friend of Beyoncé's. She was family in every sense of the word. They grew up together, performed together, lived under the same roof for years, and fought side by side to chase their dreams. Destiny's Child wasn't just a band. To the world, it was a sisterhood. Kelly wasn't a distant colleague. She was Beyoncé's chosen sister. So when people started speculating about Kelly's child possibly being connected to Jay-Z, the whispers hit with a force that no random rumor could. It wasn't about strangers, it was personal. Adding fuel to the fire was the timing. Titan was born only months after one of the most infamous celebrity incidents ever caught on camera, the elevator fight. The footage of Solange attacking Jay-Z while Beyoncé silently stood by left the world stunned. For years, people tried to decode what had triggered such an explosion. Some said cheating, some said lies, others suggested something darker. Then, almost silently, Titan's birth slipped into that same timeline. It didn't take long before people began connecting dots that may or may not have been there. What if Solange's rage wasn't only about rumors of infidelity? What if she knew something deeper, something that involved family betrayal? Was she defending her sister in a way no one else could? The whispers didn't fade away like most celebrity gossip does. They stuck, they grew, they evolved. As more people looked back at Kelly's career, especially her 2013 song Dirty Laundry, the lyrics began to feel like they carried hidden meanings. At first, the track was understood as a story about an abusive relationship and the struggles of living in Beyoncé's shadow. But in light of the Titan rumors, fans reread those lines through a new lens. Lyrics about jealousy, betrayal, and painful secrets suddenly felt less abstract and more like a coded message. Was Kelly speaking about something bigger than a boyfriend? Was she hinting at tensions in her closest relationships without daring to name them? The situation escalated when talk of a supposed video began circulating. Allegedly, it showed Jay-Z and Kelly in a moment that looked far too intimate. Whether the clip was real or fabricated, no one could say for sure. But in the court of public opinion, it hardly mattered. The internet ran with it, breaking the video down frame by frame, analyzing gestures and spinning interpretations that grew wilder by the day. What kept this theory alive more than anything, though, was silence. Beyoncé didn't say a word. Jay-Z didn't respond. Kelly didn't address it. Nothing. No denial, no clarification, no firm rejection, just silence. And when celebrities don't immediately shut down a rumor, people assume there's a reason. If it isn't true, fans asked, why not just say so? That silence became its own statement. It turned speculation into obsession. Soon, every Destiny's Child interview, red carpet appearance, and onstage glance was being re-examined with new suspicion. Were these women truly as close as they appeared, or had cracks already formed years before?
It didn't help that Jay-Z's name had already been tied to another long-running paternity story. For more than a decade, a man named Rove Satterthwaite has insisted that Jay-Z is his father. Rove's mother claimed she had a relationship with the rapper in the early 90s, long before he became a global superstar. She said her son was the result of that relationship.
Rove wasn't seeking fame or fortune. He repeatedly asked for a simple DNA test. But Jay-Z's response was always the same: silence. Court motions were blocked, requests were ignored, no confirmation, no denial, just avoidance. And when a powerful man spends over 10 years dodging a basic test, people notice. They begin to wonder, was he protecting his reputation, or was he hiding something? So when the Titan rumors surfaced, many fans saw parallels. Different stories, yes, but strangely similar patterns. Young women in Jay-Z's orbit, whispers of betrayal, and above all, complete silence from him. That brings us back to the infamous elevator. Solange's attack on Jay-Z wasn't just a burst of anger. It became a cultural event. The footage of her kicking and swinging while Beyoncé remained eerily calm sparked endless theories. Nobody knew what Jay-Z had done or said that caused such fury. But when Titan's birth and the rumors surrounding it entered the timeline, people looked back at that footage with fresh eyes. Maybe Solange wasn't just reacting to infidelity with some random woman. Maybe she had learned something explosive about her brother-in-law and her sister's best friend. Maybe she snapped because the betrayal hit too close to home. Then came 2016, when Beyoncé dropped Lemonade. The world was shaken. Betrayal, heartbreak, and that unforgettable line about Becky with the good hair set the internet on fire. Most attention landed on women like Rachel Roy or Rita Ora. But in the corners of fan forums, Reddit threads, and podcasts, another question was whispered. What if Becky wasn't an outsider? What if she was someone closer? The possibility that Becky could have been Kelly Rowland horrified some fans and angered others. But once again, the theory didn't vanish. Instead, people started revisiting old performances, looking for stiff body language, awkward glances, and moments where Beyoncé and Kelly didn't seem quite as united as before. Kelly's rare mentions of Beyoncé and Jay-Z in interviews after 2014 only added fuel. The closeness that once seemed unshakable suddenly looked distant. Destiny's Child had always been painted as the gold standard of girl group sisterhood, but after the rumors surfaced, people began to dissect the group's history with new suspicion. Fans remembered how Beyoncé was always positioned front and center, while Kelly often took the background. Fewer solos, subtler outfits, smaller spotlight. At the time, this was explained as standard music industry strategy, but now it felt like foreshadowing. If resentment or jealousy had existed, perhaps it had been simmering all along. In this light, every old performance, every lyric, and every award show interaction became evidence of a story no one dared to tell out loud. What kept the speculation alive wasn't just the supposed resemblance between Titan and Jay-Z. It wasn't only Kelly's vulnerable lyrics or Beyoncé's coded messages. It was the silence. Celebrities usually rush to shut down false rumors, sometimes with statements, sometimes with lawsuits. But here, no one said a word. No denial, no press release, no cease and desist, just silence. And the longer the silence lasted, the more people believed the story might hold some truth. Jay-Z already carried a reputation scarred by his own admissions of cheating. Pair that with the ongoing paternity case involving Rove, and the whispers grew louder. Fans watched him and Beyoncé carefully at public events, searching their faces for cracks in the perfect couple image. Were they truly okay, or was there more boiling beneath the surface? Meanwhile, Kelly continued with her career, acting roles, music projects, motherhood, but she rarely spoke about her Destiny's Child days in detail. Public appearances with Beyoncé became rare, and their online interactions nearly disappeared. To some, it looked like life simply moving on. To others, the timing felt far too suspicious. It wasn't just fans fueling the fire. Podcasts, YouTube exposés, and tabloid outlets all dove in. Some called it nonsense. Others swore it was the industry's biggest unspoken secret. And the deeper people dug, the more connections they thought they found. Not hard facts, but shadows. And in pop culture, shadows often spark louder conversations than light. What made this rumor so powerful was that it involved people the public had grown up with. These weren't distant celebrities. Beyoncé and Kelly had been role models for a generation. They embodied unity, resilience, and sisterhood. To imagine that behind the music there might be betrayal or secrets felt almost too big to process. But the internet doesn't shy away from messy stories. The messier it gets, the more people dig. And here, the digging never stopped. In the end, the story evolved into more than a rumor about a baby photo. It became a triangle of unanswered questions: Jay-Z's history of silence, Beyoncé's coded expressions of pain, and Kelly's growing distance. Fans rewatched old clips of Beyoncé walking ahead while Kelly lingered behind. They reread old interviews where Kelly spoke about feeling overshadowed. They treated lyrics as confessions and silence as proof. The narrative, whether true or not, became too compelling to ignore. And until someone finally breaks that silence, with truth, denial, or confession, the speculation will continue. Because when legends refuse to fill in the blanks, the world will always write the story for them.